Alrighty guys, as it brings another Dragon Ball Legends TOP guide video. This is going to be in regards to TOP season 61. So last season we ended up at rank 3766, resulting in us getting the top cut title for the season. The key takeaways from last season was definitely that we used that red EX Super Baby 2, and he actually did pretty great even though he was a melee type on our blast based team. He will definitely be considered again in the future. Now before we move on, there will always be timestamps in the description down below, that way you guys can go ahead and get to where you need to go. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is our pathing. This is a loosely based crafted path by myself. And remember, I always tell you guys that the circled fights are always going to be the most important fights, so even if you deviate off the Kaioken pathing, just make sure you guys are hitting those circled fights, because you do get that win streak bonus that increases based off every 5th win. So your 5th, 10th, 15th, 20th, and 25th, those are the most important fights. Also keep in mind, if you do land on a green tile or a yellow tile, you will not be able to get the maximum 25 win streak bonus. So next thing we're going to be talking about is tips and tricks. So the first thing I'm going to tell you guys is to farm your friendship rank. The easiest way to do this is on the Let's Fight event. You get 3 of these per day, but do keep in mind this will only allow you to work on 1 unit at a time. The other way is going to story mode, part 6, book 1, chapter 8. It is going to be this fight against Yellow Super Saiyan 3 Goku. This one, you actually get to work on 3 units at a time, because you can bring 3 units into the fight itself, but this is so tedious and it does take forever. I don't necessarily recommend it. What you can do to speed up the process though is equipping your entire team with the special friendship rank equip. It does stack, so do make sure to have 18 of these bad boys unlocked. The title of this equip is There's No Way That We Could Lose to Someone Like You. How to get it, it is from the Z Metal shop. So the next thing you're probably asking yourself is, why grind friendship rank? Because it increases all of your stats specifically for TOP. Let's go ahead and take a look at an example here. So we're going to take a look at this fused Kami with Piccolo. You can see he is at friendship rank 10. That is where it caps out right here. The most important stat in TOP is Q store speed. As you can see right here, it is sitting at 2,538, which is already pretty good. But if we go to TOP stats, it jumps up to 2,664, which is actually a pretty substantial increase. You can see that there's a specific boost for all of my stats right here. So now we're going to be taking a look at the trickiest fights of the season, and we're going to be starting with this Super Warrior stage. So you want to kill Tien first, since he will Solar Flare you, stun you on turn 2, and then you want to kill the Baseball Yamcha last, since he will mitigate a Blast Arts attack and buff his team simultaneously. Next is the Fusion Reborn stage. The most obvious target here is Ultra Gogeta. Get him out of the way first, and then save the Janembas for last, since they both mitigate Blast Arts. Do remember that Red Janemba will not only mitigate a Blast Arts, but will also stun you for 1 turn. Next we have another Sagas from the movies with Tapion. You want to kill that Tapion first, since he will reduce one of your unit's super gauge to 0 on turn 2. This one's actually pretty straightforward. You just have to kill Ultra Gogeta first, because we're going to see the stage a lot this season. Next we have LOE with Sparking Full Power Frieza. The Legends Limited Purple Frieza will stun you on turn 1. You cannot do anything to prevent this, you have to eat it, but Full Power Frieza will gain his super attack if he is met with a Blast Arts, so you usually will see me save him for last and just pray to RNG, although you can set all your units to strike base to prevent this entirely. In order to do this, you simply click on the unit that you would like to swap over to strike base. You're going to see a little icon to the left of their HP bar. You can click on that and it will ask you to choose your attack strategy. From there, you simply hit strike and then hit confirm, and when you're finished with the battle, make sure you set it back to blast. But for someone like me, where most of my units are blast based, I would lose a lot of damage. That's why I do end up leaving it to RNG. I do advise do not bring any purple units to this fight though. Next we have Sagas with the purple Bojack. Make sure to kill that purple Bojack before the end of turn 2, where he super attacks. The rest of the fight is pretty easy. You can even get some units out of the way before attacking him and still get him before he supers. Next is this all Goku stage. This one can be a little bit difficult if you don't know where you're up against. There are 2 units who can super attack here. You want to kill the sparking, emphasis on sparking, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku first, since he will super at the beginning of turn 2, and then the Blue Kaioken Goku, since he will super at the start of turn 3. Next is this Cell Saga stage. Personally, I do like killing the yellow Cell first, since he provides support and debuffs for his team. And last but not least, we do have Mono Red with the blue Cooler. I always like to go for the tag droids first and then Super 13 to play it safe, because he does get that guaranteed super attack on turn 3. If it is possible for you to kill tag droids and Tapion in turn 1, you can do that. Just make sure you do kill Super 13 before he does super attack on turn 3. Remember, he does have relatively high key restore speed. That's pretty much all the fights that I want to cover for this season. If you guys think I should have covered any other fights, or you have any solutions to any of these fights, alternative solutions that is, let me know in the comment section down below. So now let's go into our top 5 teams for this season. First off, we do have Universal Survival Saga, Universe Reps, whatever, Rival Universe, whatever you want to call it. But Kaio is the undisputed star here. She is the designated healer of this team, but if you do need a replacement for her, try using the yellow EX ToP 18. Unfortunately, if you're like myself, I do not have her at all. I also really like the EX Dispo and the yellow EX Topo because they have that insane synergy, plus this Regen brings debuffs to the table. It's not necessarily the entire board, but it's enough. She's only missing 4 tiles right here for her debuffs. But I truly believe the best thing about this team is that a lot of the units here may buff the Goku Frieza unit, who was amazing for ToP. Do not be afraid of bringing in 1 or 2 C tier units if it's going to ensure your survival, right? The only reason why you wouldn't The only reason why you would never touch C tier is if you're trying to go for rank 1. Obviously, right here on the right hand side, this player is rank 1, so that's probably why he wouldn't want to water down his team with a lower tier unit. But as for me, as for probably many of you, I'm not too sure, I am simply just trying to get that juicy 1000cc. Also, another difference that we have right here is that I'm running the purple Vados instead of the purple Bergamo. I think they're kind of interchangeable. The purple Bergamo will definitely get his super attack faster, but this Vados is going to have more debuffs, so it's up to you. So next, we do have Hybrids / Sun Family. This user is rank 10 right now. Hybrid seems to be doing amazing this season with Goten being S tier. Remember, this man has an incredibly high key restore speed after transforming, meaning he's going to attack very early on. Plus, he does have the guaranteed super attack at the start of the second turn, as well as healing himself at the end of the second turn. He is a phenomenal unit. Seemingly, the only downside of this team is your Namek Saga EX Goku being in B tier, but personally, that wouldn't stop me from using him since he is a great healer. He only heals to the left and to the right of him, but it's indiscriminate. I love this man. If you are going to be bringing in that blue Zenkai Gohan from the Broly movie, then I would heavily recommend a healer to keep him alive. This team is also your perfect opportunity to use the new LF Goku in ToP since he is A tier this season. We're going to pretend like I have him right here instead of the old LF Namek Goku. Honestly, another very safe option would be to replace that purple Super Saiyan 2 Gohan I had on here with this guy, since you have double yellows that have guaranteed super attacks on turn 2. That way you can always protect your green units. So next we have Super Warriors. They also seem to be doing pretty good this season. They do have the option of a healer with this yellow Piccolo, but beware, do not use him against Reds. He takes a ton of damage, so please use him sparingly. He has a 5-tile range in which he does heal his allies though, which is pretty nice. And so obviously there are a little bit of differences between my Super Warriors team and this user's Super Warriors team. I feel like mine is a bit more safe, but obviously at the cost of points, which is usually how it is. I like the Zenkai Krillin a little bit more because he does have the Solar Flare at the start of the first turn, and then this green Tien more than the original one because he also has a Solar Flare at the start of the second turn. This green Tien is in B tier though. So overall, I have 3 points of damage mitigation on this squad already. I could probably go even further and say that a decent replacement for this Tien would be this Piccolo right here, since he does get his super gauge pretty quickly. The Tien obviously is going to be better on the Super Warrior team because he actually buffs Super Warriors instead of this guy right here, but for me, I only have that Tien at 3 stars. This would be the better option in my specific situation. But this is also your perfect opportunity to use the new EX tag Krillin and Gohan, since they are A tier for this season and they do buff Super Warriors. Personally, I would probably just swap out Yajirobe here for that tag unit. Another sleeper unit here though is definitely this red Tien, because he does debuff the entire enemy board. That's why you probably do see him getting more playtime than the red Yamcha. I've also seen some weird Super Warrior teams using Ultra Vegeta and Ultra Gogeta. As you can see right here on the right hand side, this user is ranked 66 with this setup, which is honestly kind of impressive. But do keep in mind that their units are completely maxed out star-wise. So next we have Sagas from the movies, specifically the Hera Squad. Even though most of your units are S tier and below, this is still a very good option. This yellow Bojack right here is definitely outdated, but he does have a barrier mechanic allowing him to mitigate one attack even if it's a special move arts, which is going to have some value. If you are going to use this team but are feeling a bit unsure about the resilience, maybe pick up the yellow cooler movie Goku from B tier, since he is a great healing option for the tagged Sagas from the movies. Remember, he does have to get hit in order for him to actually heal his allies. Bujin is also very nice here since he does possess a stun at the start of the second turn. Also, if you feel like you need some more damage output, the other two Sparking Bojacks do reside in A tier, and remember, they both get guaranteed super attacks on turn 2, which is why I do feel like they deserve some love and definitely have that value here. So last but not least, we're going to be talking about the team that we will be using this season, which is of course going to be Regeneration. So let's go through this on a tier by tier basis. Starting off in Z tier, we are picking up none of these units. Even though I have this guy at Friendship rank 10, we used him once before and he was terrible. We will not be using him unless he gets a Zenkai. I know some people can work around this purple nail right here too, but I don't like him. I think he's pretty bad. So moving on to S tier, we actually have a couple pickups right here. We're going to be bringing in this purple Cell. I've grown quite fond of him. He's at Friendship rank 10. He debuffs the entire enemy board. I feel like you do need a debuffer on your team these days. And next we do have this EX Baby Vegeta. Once again, another debuffer. It doesn't necessarily say it right here on this diagram, but at the start of the turn, multi-target inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade plus 10% to blast damage received for one turn. We are a blast-based team. Another huge pickup for us here is this Gohan being an S tier once again. I might actually pump some Z power into him, but we have made the 3-star work before, and we can make it work again. So next we have A tier. We're going to be subbing out that Zenkai Slug for our OG Zenkai Kamikolo. He is our super attack farmer. I really like that unit a lot. And then plus this green first form Cell. He has high key restore speed. He's able to heal himself. He's able to put debuffs on the enemy team. I'm a little bit biased towards him. I know he's not the best. And then of course in B tier we have our beloved Bootanks, who is our guaranteed super attacker for turn 1. And then coming in at C tier, we are going to be using double reds here with the Zenkai Red 21 and the Super Baby 2 Zenkai. This guy's just always going. This guy is pretty much non-replaceable. I'm sorry guys, if you guys need replacements for any other units on this team, let me know in the comment section down below. Super Baby 2 is someone that I can't confidently give you a replacement for. So now for the final segment of the video, we're going to be talking about the new units. Let's start off with this gorgeous LF Goku, whom we will be doing summons for. Later on in the day, so keep an eye out for that. So let's go ahead and see what his maximum stats are right here. ToP stats, 2,350 for the key restore speed, not that great. He does have the ultimate, plus the blue card. His first ability, 80% to damage inflicted, minus 20% to damage received, plus 10% to key recovery. You guys know how I feel about it saying percent instead of just simply plus 10. Applies buff effect and nullifies abnormal conditions twice. On strike arts attack, 10% to doing damage, 10% to strike damage. Inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade plus 10% to damage received for 2 turns. And on special move arts, get 30% to special move and damage inflicted for 1 turn. And on ultimate arts, 30% to ultimate. So a lot of damage. There's a lot of damage going on right there if you're using the blue card or if you're using the ultimate. He does have a strike cover change, but it is health restricted to 30%. You guys know how I feel about that as well, negatively, right? On attack against unfavorable element, you got another 30% to damage inflicted. You upgrade your special arts, activates 1, and you get 50% to your special move gauge. 50%! That is huge. I think that is insanely good. So you're going to want to target unfavorable elements with this guy just so you can build up your super attack. On receiving an attack against unfavorable elements, you get minus 20% to damage received, and every time this character defeats an enemy, you restore your health by 10%, activates 1 time, 20% to damage inflicted, activates twice, and 5% to key recovery. So it being a one-time heal is kind of a eh. If it was every single time you defeated an enemy you got 10%, that would be absolutely broken. He is very, very solid. I like him. So next we have the tag units, Gohan and Krillin. From Dynamic Saga, the Ki restore speed is also pretty low, 2,326. That is at Friendship Rank 1. Remember, you get about 120 Ki restore speed from Friendship Rank 10. He does have the regular blue card. All out full battle, 80% to damage inflicted, plus 20% to strike damage, minus 20% to damage received, plus 5% to Ki. Is this the first EX unit with a percentage boost to their Ki recovery? Because if so, that's huge. Plus 10% to special move gauge charge rates, not bad. On attack against unfavorable element, 20% to damage inflicted, and you perform a tag switch. You reverse your element factors that activates one time and it does not activate during rush. Before receiving a strike, blast, or special move arts against unfavorable elements, you restore health by 5%. That's huge, that's really good defensive capabilities there. And you perform a tag switch and reverse element fact. So he has the possibility of reversing or basically tagging out 2 times. This effect will activate even if an ally performs a cover change. Okay, so not a whole lot here, but he's definitely good enough. Now let's take a look at the newly Zenkai'd full power Frieza right here. I only have him at 3 stars, which is a little bit unfortunate, but we're going to display his max stats, so it doesn't matter anyways. Ki restore speed 2,434, not bad. Has a blue card and the ultimate right here. And if there is an enemy tag Sun Family, you enhance your special move arts. Does that mean it upgrades to ultimate? Or no, it just enhances it? I don't know. At the start of the battle, 65% to damage inflicted, minus 25% to damage received. At the start of turn, according to number of allies remaining, 6 allies, 25% to damage inflicted, and plus 30 to Ki recovery. 5 allies, 30%, and so forth. 4 allies or less, 35%. So you get stronger the more allies die, which is, I already think this is a dog water ability. You don't want your allies to be dying in the first place. He has a blast cover change, health restricted to 30%, not the best. At the start of the second turn, you inflict all enemies with attribute downgrade plus 10% to damage received. That is huge. And 25% to your own special move gauge, so he's getting that guaranteed every 4 fights, if not more. After receiving an attack, own health of 70% or below, restore health by 8%. That's alright. That's better. Most of these units have it like own health of 60% or below, 50% or below. 70% is a little bit generous for them. After receiving an attack, own health is 50%. This one, look at. Own health is 50% or below. You get 20% to own special move gauge charge rate for 2 turns, and you inflict enemy with attribute downgrade plus 15% to damage received. LOE hasn't been in meta in ToP for a while, so I don't necessarily think this guy is going to have the resurgence for LOE. He's alright. And this is someone that I ended up missing in the last season, I believe. This Kaioken Goku. So let's look at his maximum stats. Ki restore speed 2,310, which is pretty bad, especially compared to his other Kaioken Goku counterparts. He has the blue card and the ultimate right here, and on strike arts attack, multi-target, 10% to damage inflicted by allies in range. I like the support, 40% to own strike damage inflicted, cannot be cancelled. Activates once, inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade plus 10% to damage received for 1 turn. And on strike arts hit, you have the 20% chance to follow up with another strike arts hit. So like the Vegeta Blue effect right there, right? Second ability, start of the battle, 30% to damage inflicted for 2 turns, minus 15% to damage received for 2 turns, and plus 150 to Ki recovery for 2 turns. That's pretty good, that's a lot. At the start of turn, plus 35% to damage inflicted for 1 turn, minus 15% to damage received for 1 turn, and another 40 Ki recovery. So he makes up for the Ki restore speed heavily here. I think the best thing about him is that he's going to be Zenkai buffing the green Namek Goku, who is a healer, so him having an extra padding of those Zenkai stats is going to help out. I think this guy could have some value in the future. So that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for today's video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns related to ToP, let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys leave a like and maybe even consider hitting that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later!